The most damning evidence to just how damaging narcissistic abuse is on a human being is something so profound that you don't need to have experienced this kind of abuse firsthand to recognize the significance. Just try thinking about how you would feel if you had just been told that you have a unique kind of brain damage. One where it causes your brain to function as if it has been hit with 5 different disorders all at once: depression, anxiety, ADHD, early Alzheimer's, and features of schizophrenic psychosis, with the effects of each compounding the next so that the sum is exponentially more devastating than any of the single parts. And here's the sickest irony: your nervous system will rewire to make the chaos feel normal, creating more or less a neurological shitstorm. Your brain literally rejects the very things that could heal it. Now the antidote feels like death. Most people would be horrified and utterly devastated to learn this news. But when I shared the findings of a research paper I had just written and how narcissistic abuse sabotages your DMN, the outpour of comments from survivors weren't that of devastation, but were full of countless expressions of gratitude, relief, and tears of joy. Think about that. If you can be grateful that you weren't just brain fucked, but that your brain was legit fucked, that shows you what kind of hell that person has been through. You're like a prisoner of war who has been tortured so long that when someone finally documents your injuries, you weep with joy. Not because you loved being injured, but because someone finally handed you evidence that this happened. This was real. You're not crazy. You were injured. But here's the truth that no one says. Your feeling crazy is the only sane response to what happened to you. Didn't feel insane after all that bullshit? That would be more concerning. Why? Because there is no way to not feel insane when your brain has been Frankensteined in echoing their voice that you're worthless, you can't handle this, you're crazy, no one else will believe you. Every waking moment, you have full body panic attacks in the grocery store because the fluorescent lights sound like footsteps. You lose hours, days, weeks to dissociation because your brain learned that checking out was far safer than staying in the present. And society's response is, have you tried yoga? Yoga? Fucking yoga? Really? There were days I couldn't remember what I ate for breakfast. But sure, let me try the downward dog and see if that fixes the fact that my own mind has been turned into a torture chamber. And that's not metaphorical either. These people are the equivalent of a psychological terrorist, like they've planted some IED in your neurological pathways and then laugh while you try to navigate your own thoughts. Safety feels like the biggest lie you've ever been told because you were conditioned to the calm, meaning that the storm was coming. Kindness feels like manipulation because, well, it was. Your own thoughts feel like the enemy because that's how they programmed them to be. Your mind literally attacks you on their behalf. And when you finally escape, you face the most terrifying truth of all. The person you thought they were never exists. The relationship you thought was real was a psychological illusion. Your spouse, mother, father, sibling, best friend, whoever they were to you, was nothing more than a ghost. And it left behind something far worse than a bad memory, because the ghost trains you to haunt yourself. You become your own jailer, carrying the prison in your neural pathways. You're not living, you're existing in this twisted purgatory where the person who destroyed you is still running your brain's programming from the grave of this relationship. The fact that survivors function at all is really a miracle. The fact that you still seek connection is extraordinary. The fact that you still try to build a life isn't resilience, it is heroic. Because every morning you wake up, you're choosing to exist in a world that your brain tells you isn't safe. Every relationship you attempt is an act of courage because your nervous system is fighting against it. Every moment of joy you feel is a victory against the programming designed to destroy you. The fact that you're still standing, still blinking, breathing air that was rationed by your captor is righteous proof of your defiance. Your brainwaves may look like a crime scene, but crime scenes tell a story. One that you now get to reclaim the authorship of, narrating who you are. This wasn't trauma. This wasn't an emotional injury or a heartbreak. This was measurable brain damage, quantifiable neurological injury. It was war on your mind. Naming it gives you power. If a soldier came home with shrapnel in his spine, you wouldn't scold them for limping or tell them to just go walk it off. Your limp is legal. You're not gonna just move on yet. It takes time to heal. I still have days where my brain feels more like Swiss cheese than it does a functional unit. Memories slip, focus shatters, nightmares crawl out in pure daylight, and the voice of the ghost sounds louder than my own. And want to scream at times from the highest of rooftops, begging for this shit to stop. But every morning I wake up and choose to put my feet on the floor is another brick in rebuilding my life, myself, and is evidence that I'm not what I've endured, but what I'm overcoming. So survivors, this is the thing to remember. Yeah, it's fucked up as it is beautiful that you're grateful for the proof of brain damage. But that is the brutal reality of what this abuse does. It breaks you so completely that proof of how much damage they caused is salvation. But the raw truth is also the birthplace of real, roaring freedom. The kind that rebuilds neurons, reputations, and whole damn lives. It's your demolition permit. They told you were weak, insecure, worthless. Yeah, because they beat that shit into your brain every single day until it was if you were under some kind of voodoo psychological lobotomy. Why? Because they knew they didn't have a chance keeping you in their torture hut otherwise. What burns in you isn't damage. It's not weakness. It's the unstoppable will that refused to let them take you out for good. Because the fact that you're still here, still searching for truth, still willing to hear it when it comes, makes you one of the strongest humans alive. So cry those tears of relief. Feel the validation. Let the truth wash over you like medicine. Because every tear is proof that they didn't win. You did. You are still here, still breathing, still trying. It shows that you're not broken. You're breaking free. Because this isn't about recovery. It is rebellion. It is defiance. It is reclaiming a life from the ruins of psychological torture. And finally bringing yourself that they had no right to take from you home. The living death isn't the end. It's the space between what they made you and who you're becoming. And anyone who says just get over it has never had their identity used as kindling for someone else's bonfire. Your ghost phase isn't forever, but it is 100% real. It's valid. And even if it feels like a coffin right now, eventually you'll see it as your cocoon. Because you're not broken. You're breaking free. And every tear is proof that they didn't win. You did. You're still here. And that, my friends, is everything. Focus on you. Fuck the narcissist. Or whatever you want to call them.